everyone, and welcome to today's DataVox webinar, Secure Web Meetings and Video Conferencing, presented by Cisco Webex. My name is Jessica, and I will be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this webinar through Cisco Webex events, and the audio can be heard through your PC or by calling into the phone number listed and with the access code provided in your confirmation email or calendar invite for this event. Today's webinar is being recorded on behalf of DataVox, and participation in this event indicates your consent to being included in that recording. All attendees will receive an email with a link to the completed recording 24 to 48 hours post-event. If you have questions for the presenters at any time during this presentation, you may submit those questions via the Q&A feature to the bottom right of your screen. This should already be turned on. Simply click Q&A and the text box will appear. Our panel will be responding to these questions throughout the presentation via text and will respond verbally at the conclusion of the presentation. If you are in need of support or have a question not pertaining to today's topic, please utilize the chat feature and I will be happy to assist you. This feature is separate from the Q&A feature and can be turned on by clicking the chat bubble in the lower center of your screen. Now that we have reviewed the features of this webinar, we would like to start off today's presentation with a few words from our Collaboration Solutions Architect at DataVox, Brett Hodgson. Brett, the floor is yours. Oh, sorry, Brett, I think you're still muted.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Jessica. I wanted to take this time to thank everyone for taking this time out of their day to join this event and learn how DataVox and Cisco can help you provide some tools to your workforce that facilitate collaboration while working from home during these difficult times, as well as moving forward in your business. DataVox has the ability to evaluate, test, and sell all the major meeting platforms and collaboration tools in the market. Not only has Webex been DataVox's preferred platform to promote to our customers, but we've depended on Webex to host our internal meetings and customer engagements for more than 15 years. When COVID changed the world and we decided to launch our webinar series that you're attending to replace our in-person events and engagements, we reevaluated the large event-centric solutions in the market and again decided that Webex offered one of the most robust and secure platforms in the market. Cisco Webex has traditionally seen billions of conferencing minutes per month and has experienced a surge of over 200% in March of this year while helping the world continue to collaborate during this unique time. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Gil Guevara and Todd Grassi with Cisco Systems to tell you more about how their organization is responding to this new workforce experience that you're a part of, as well as how they can help your organizations. Over to you.
Todd, I think you're still muted as well. There we go.
My apologies. Here we are. Okay. So thank you for that introduction. My name is Todd Grassi. I'm with Cisco. Thank you for joining this DataVox webinar, Secure Webex Meetings and Video Conferencing. I couldn't be happier to be working or more proudly working for a company like Cisco that's taking time and action and really around the COVID-19. We're responding to customer needs, and the top priority is the core value that we have around those customer needs and making sure that we're innovating and helping with that public safety today, those healthcare workers, the emergency responders, things like that. When we're doing that with some of the offers that we're going to be speaking about with free Webex meetings offers, and basically being able to expand usage for existing customers as well. So if you're an existing Webex customer today, thank you for that. We'll talk about being able to kind of expand your licensing, right? Today, this report from IDC has just recently come out, and it's talking about the 5 major changes that COVID-19 is going to create in the macro environment. And today, I think we've kind of hit on 2 of these. We'll talk about number 3 and 4, where kind of the acceleration of the healthcare system and the teleworkers, telehealth that we're now seeing today, that's such a boon in. And then accelerating rise of the contactless business and services, or those remote workers, and the surge that we're seeing in that remote worker community today, right? So Webex is the #1 collaboration platform out there today. It is the future of where we're going to be working. As you can see, we're all remote today, right? It is the most secure, reliable, and scalable platform. And we'll talk about how we secure that. We'll talk about the scalability that we've been seeing recently due to COVID-19. But this platform is where governments serve, where doctors save, military and police protect, right? And this is a business brand. The world runs on Webex. So it is one of those that this is what we're meeting on today, is the Webex platform, and you can be very safe and feeling secure about this, right? Let's talk about our meetings, just the meetings market share right now. And a fact that Gartner has put out there: by 2020, remote work and changing workforce demographics will impact enterprise meetings so that only 25% will take place in person, down from 60%. And this study was done previously to March, of course. So I think this is even going to drive these meetings, or your remote meetings, higher and higher numbers, right? Where do we sit in the marketplace? So Cisco is a leader in that Magic Quadrant. By the way, we've been a leader in that Magic Quadrant for the last 5 years. And we've been a leader in this Magic Quadrant for the last 10 plus years. You can see where Cisco is leading Zoom in this. And we'll talk a little bit how we compare to Zoom, how we share with Zoom, or secure with Zoom, right? So our total revenue is around $52 billion in comparison to Zoom's, which is just over $500 million. Our market share is 48% around conferencing software as a service. So we're really owning that market. It's something that we do very well and have been doing for a long time. Zoom has about 12% of that market today. And then installed base users as of Q4 2019, just some factoids: 17.3 million on the Cisco Webex platform, 4.2 million on Zoom. What we're seeing is these numbers are obviously going to be growing just exponentially as we have the COVID-19 experience that we're going through today. One of the things we also have to take in mind, right, is not only are we a market leader, we are secure. We have not seen any issues with our scaling over the last months to handle COVID-19. In fact, it's worked extremely well, and there has been no security. Our competitors like Zoom have not had that same luxury. They've been banned by several agencies and entities, including NASA, SpaceX, the government of Taiwan, UK Ministry of Defense, so on and so forth. We could speak to those a lot more, and actually we will. I'll let Gil speak to those as we move on. More about the platform. We heard earlier that we are about 14 billion minutes a month, meeting minutes a month last month. February, before COVID-19 had the rise here in the US, we were doing about 6 billion minutes a month. So you can see that we've scaled the Webex platform in the US about 2.5 times. EMEA, we've scaled it by almost 4 times, and APJ is almost 3 times the volume. So we've been able to scale without an issue, and it's also been kept secure. 324 million monthly meetings, attendees, a monthly hosts about 26 million. Webex Teams messages per day is about 34 million. And at our peak during this sign up, we had about 250,000 people sign up in a day, right? So just amazing usage, and the system just keeps chugging along. The platform has not had a hiccup. During these enterprise trials that we've been standing up for COVID-19, we've stood up over 16,000 trials and nearly 2 million users. So once again, the power of the platform, the power of Cisco. Now this is not your Webex of old. If you have not experienced Webex in the last few years, we have made major changes and upgrades to the user experience and interface. This is the way Webex looks today, right? You're able to have that end-to-end experience, from Cisco endpoints to laptops, to iOS devices, to Cisco Desktop Pro devices, our Cisco headsets, as well as on our area devices like our mobile devices that we use every day. So this is the Webex as of today. Very easy to use. Also secure, reliable, and scalable. We will talk about that continuously. The easy to manage piece is very easy to do within Webex Control Hub. It's a unified experience across all of our applications, meetings, calling, so on and so forth. And then we also have that platform advantage of artificial intelligence and machine learning about being able to say things like, Webex start my meeting. Webex is this room available. Webex check my calendar. That's the kind of artificial intelligence integration we're speaking to. And then also being able to interoperate with the tools you know and love, right? We are well known in the education space where we have those learning LMS applications like Blackboard and Canvas and Moodle. Even from your calendar integration, Google Calendar or Microsoft or Office 365, all you have to do is in the location field, go in and type in @Webex, and then populate your Webex meetings for you. That's all you have to do. Also from messaging apps, we integrate across the board, right? We have that federation with Slack, Workplace, Microsoft Teams. We're an authorized video endpoint on Microsoft Teams as well. So that integration allows you to put the workflow that you know and love every day into your cognitive meetings so that you don't skip anything, right? It just makes that part of your workflow. Once again, that single cognitive platform that meets all of the security and compliance. These aren't additional licenses you purchase. This is nothing that you have to add on top of. This is what you get with the Webex platform. It's going to protect you against malware. It's FedRAMP compliant. It's encrypted media streams. So during that media conversation, that stream is encrypted. It also encrypts the data at rest. We have the ability to do e-discovery securely for legal purposes. And then, of course, the powerful host controls that we've seen today, being able to hand off who gets to share, who gets to speak, who gets to have the host of the meeting. And then all that is wrapped around the secure and identity and access. So once again, we're securing who's coming in and who has identity, and we're also securing the access to any of that identity that you share joining, right? Really, the power of the platform is that end-to-end messaging. We have the Cisco Webex platform, and then we have the applications of meetings, messaging, calling, and contact center. We have Jabber as well. And then we have those full devices on the left that you see, everything from immersive room devices down to desktop units, as well as down to, once again, my mobile phone that I use to take my Webex meetings on. Has that full integration, Microsoft, Google, Slack, Salesforce, and about 24,000 more, right? Once again, enterprise-grade security, and I think Gil's going to touch on this a little bit more on the next section of this. I can't touch enough on the integration of the devices themselves. Our competitors don't have this integration. They're forced to go out and use third-party vendors. And those third-party vendors, when they come in, they have iOS that has to be upgraded as well, not just our competitors' iOS like Zoom. If you bring in Logitech, you may bring in different cameras, and that's going to cause problems, right? But we have the ability to do the desktops, the collaboration room kits in the small rooms, all the way down to headsets. Once again, the desktop voices, and the audio conferencing devices as well. So let's talk about, quickly, the securing piece of those remote workers. You set them up with Webex. Now they're able to have meetings. Now we're going to make sure that, once again, Cisco is one of the vendors that provides across the board on the platform, from the endpoint to the platform, the security piece of it. And for that remote worker, we can do that with Umbrella or AMP for endpoints. We can do it for Duo for multi-factor authentication. Integrate Identity Services Engine is our access and policy control, and then for VPN, it's AnyConnect. I want to touch on this real quick because I want to make sure that everyone joined, if this brought anything up to you top of mind, that DataVox has a security webinar this afternoon at 2. So if this has any interest, please feel free to join that webinar. And then one of the things that we wanted to speak to are the offerings that we have today for COVID-19 on this secure global backbone that's cognitive, that can be hybrid, on-prem, off-prem, or on-prem or cloud, and it's secure across the board, right? So let's touch on the offerings. We have an online free offering that's more for individuals. And then we have Webex Enterprise Trials that is for those customers that are looking to turn up Webex meetings. We have up to 1,000 licenses, and that's free for 90 days. And then for those existing customers, thank you very much. If you're a Webex existing customer, we can turn up additional licenses on named users for you. Get with DataVox, and they can help you do that. We can turn that up to, I believe, 20% growth. And then for large events, we partner with vBrick. And basically for these large events, that's maybe you've had to cancel an in-person event and you're going virtual, and you need to message that out to maybe 1,000 people or several hundred people. That's what this event, a large event, is for. Don't forget Webex Calling. When you have those remote workers out there, we have free trials around Webex Calling. You don't have to have PSTN. It's simple internet connection to stand that up. These enterprise trials include Webex Calling as well. So when you sign up for an enterprise trial, Webex Calling is included in that. Webex Contact Center is that hosted contact center environment for those healthcare, hospitals, companies that need to stand up that emergency call space, if you will. As you can imagine, hospitals are getting inundated with calls, and they need to be sent to the right agents very quickly. Webex Contact Center, we can stand up a quick deploy in about 5 days. So DataVox can get you stood up, they can get your scripts written for you, and then you can start being able to take those calls within a 5-day quick deployment. That for healthcare and hospitals, that is a free license as well as free PSTN, and that offers up to 90 days, and you can extend that as well, right? So we're doing everything that we can as well for our existing customers that are experiencing that remote worker surge, and we can turn up licenses on your on-prem or Unified Call Manager or Webex Contact Center on-prem. We can turn those licenses up for 90 to 100 days as well. Just work with DataVox to get that requested. I'm going to double click real quick on the free, on the offerings themselves. The free offer, once again, is really for those individuals. You simply go to cisco.com and it'll have the ability to sign up for one free account, and that gets you the kind of unlimited meetings with participants up to 100. Things like screen sharing, recording with the gigabit cloud storage. Webex Teams is included in that with unlimited messaging. And Webex Teams is our messaging application that allows you to have presence, instant messaging, click to call, kick off scheduling meetings and things like that. For those enterprise trials, reach out to DataVox. They can set you up very quickly. And basically, this is about a customer that's going to need meetings accounts for employees. They want to have a little more centralized administration. You can tell who's using what and make sure it's getting fully adopted. This is, once again, that content sharing, full-featured video, recording, toll dial, as well as voice over IP. Desktop and mobile app experience comes with that. The Webex Teams is included. Webex Calling is also included in this. So if you need to have users to make calls that maybe they're not willing to use their cell phones or don't have good cell service, put a phone on it and you can set up with Webex Calling. This has all of the Microsoft integration with Exchange, Calendar, the directory sync, and single sign-on. It's a 30 or 90 days trial with the ability to extend it for 30 days. So that's really how we're spinning up customers to allow them to put their remote workers out in the field at their house where they're safe, right? So after 90 days, then it's about being able to figure out that if we may even be able to extend it after that if COVID-19 keeps going. So it's one of those where we're really in flux. We just want to help, right? And then we have the specifics for education trials. Webex Education is going to have the enterprise trials that we just spoke to about that, as well as we're going to add Enterprise Center 1000, Training 1000, and Support Center 5. And that's for all faculty, staff, and students. So that allows that faculty to really turn over to the remote learning and not only have a system to provide the remote learning, but have a support center for the students to call into with questions, have something that has a training center so the students can raise their hands and track activity, things like that, right? Also, once again, it includes Webex Teams, Webex Calling. your calendar integration, and once again, offering those 30 or 90-day trials with the 30-day type of extensions. Healthcare trials are very similar with Webex Enterprise. We're turning up that Webex Enterprise trials, but we are adding VBrick to healthcare trials, and that's simply for those very large announcements that we talked about before, right? You can have 3 free live events up to 500 participants or 1 live event up to 5,000 participants. We're also offering trials for FedRAMP. It's a little bit different here in that it's Webex Meetings 200, and that means it's a capacity of 200 attendees. And we're offering also our Cisco Webex FedRAMP audio services that are offered for FedRAMP and authorized by FedRAMP. So for those security and authorizations for FedRAMP, this is the program that we have available for that piece of it. Once again, 90 days with a 30-day extension if we need to. Now, how do we add VBrick to our Webex meetings? It's simple to add that event for those large events. And we talked about before with VBrick, there's 3 free live events up to 500, 1 free up to 5,000. Really the important thing about this is we can now stream these events to Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, VBrick Rev, IBM Video, and many, many more, right? So once again, just contact DataVox and they'll be able to help you out with those solutions. And then again, for expanding existing customers, we're going to allow you to turn up 20% of your total licenses. So DataVox can help you do that. Simply reach out to them they can submit an exception request form, and then we'll allow you to burst up over where you are today when the needs of COVID-19. And then that Webex Contact Center that we talked about is really those companies with immediate need for new or expanded resources in the cloud, like hospitals or healthcare agencies, things like that. And it's companies looking to provide work from home options as well for those agents, right? So they don't have to be on site at a work environment. It's ideal for those rapid 5-day deployments. We talked about a lead time up to 5 days to get those completed, and we've seen that happen a couple of times. This is an offering for hospitals, anybody that's serving patients. They'll get the premium agent license. You'll get that for free. You'll also get free local number access and PSTN delivery of calls to agents for up to 90 days. So basically, free licensing and free PSTN to enable this environment. And then I'm going to touch real quickly on how are we securing these remote workers with our offerings. We talked about Cisco Umbrella and Duo being that multi-factor authentication, and AnyConnect being for that VPN environment. We're offering 60 and 90-day trials right along with the trials for Webex Teams and Webex Meetings. That way those remote workers are secure as well. And then really, we kind of set it up in 3 remote worker environments around collaboration. One that is hardware focused, and that we can allow message, meetings, and calling. They could have a Webex Desktop Pro device out of their inside, or maybe a DX80, or something as simple as an IP phone. But they'll also have Teams available as well as a headset. So that hardware worker has a lot of options, Cisco endpoints that provides the end-to-end security. And then really on the power user and the lean user, the collaboration piece is very similar. They're going to have access and availability to message, meetings, and calling, Webex Teams. They can use headsets, they can use mobile devices. A Cisco endpoint is not required, right? They could use an actual mobile device or a web browser, something like that. And then really once again, just to touch on, Webex is the platform that everyone is securely using today. It drives the business today and is that business brand, very secure, something that's been out there and leading in the market for over 12 years, right? I know there's a lot of interest in understanding kind of what separates us from Zoom and how this is. I'm going to turn it over to Gil after I have 3 little comments here. You can see Cisco has gained 2.2% market share according to Synergy Research Group and grew new users 40% more than Zoom in 2019. Even as fast as Zoom was growing, just because we have the market share, we grew even faster. And one of the things that's not clear out there that Zoom will use is Webex is expensive because they have to have PSTN calling. That's not the case. We can use voice over IP calling as well. It's just, do you want to use that? Is that the best experience? That's not the only experience that we offer. And then, you have to have Cisco devices at the endpoint. That's not the case. You can join Webex from any device, right? So this is some of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that Zoom is spreading out there that we wanted to touch on real quick. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Gil, and we're going to kind of double click on that piece of it for you. And Gil, you may be muted as well. Not yet.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Okay, great. There I am. Okay, so am I sharing the screen? I'm good?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you all for this your time today. My name is Gil. I'm a collaboration TSA with Cisco's ATO. On my agenda today, we're not going to be bashing Zoom or hating on Zoom. Excuse me. We just want to level set with you on what the media is talking about. And then I'm going to get into presenting on Cisco Webex meeting security. First off, a quick overview on Zoom. So as you know, Eric Yuan, former Cisco VP of Engineering, left Cisco and launched Zoom in 2012. Zoom started off with meetings, expanded with Zoom webinars, Zoom rooms, and Zoom voice, etc. The big question, why did Zoom get so popular? Well, number one, their price point. Number two, it's simple to use. And number three, and this is very important, Zoom targeted their business toward this SMB and micro business market, which at the time was very underserved. They offer free meetings up to 40 minutes, a quick sign up, a download, and you're good to go. Now, when the COVID crisis hit, Zoom saw a massive spike in new video conferencing users, as well as an increase in usage. It is this that brought much visibility into Zoom's security flaws, and the media ran with it. So the first Zoom flub I want to talk about here is related to Zoom's scalability and reliability. So CNN reported on the troubles the Biden campaign had during a virtual town hall. The start time was delayed for 2 hours. One of the speakers at the event could not be seen on the screens. When Biden came up, his audio was so poor, they had to stop and restart the event. And it was just a mess, one thing after another. Maybe it was user error, could have been, we'll never know. This one here, I'm sure you heard about it, Zoom bombing. Zoom bombing is a horrifying new trend. Wikipedia defines it as the unwanted intrusion into a video conference call by an individual which causes disruption. I'm sure you heard the stories of the porn site images and the lewd, hateful comments and being posted or spoken by these uninvited participants. Let's pause a minute. Consider the audience here for just a minute and ask yourself, what is at stake? More on Zoom bombing. These Zoom hackers share Zoom meeting IDs. They coordinate hacking attacks as well as record their attacks and share them on TikTok and YouTube. Go look for them. They're out there. These hijackers are targeting communities like our schools, our universities, AA meetings, and other communities. Here's another type of Zoom hack that's been reported. At one point, Zoom created a Zoom connector for integration with third-party video devices. Hackers were able to exploit that integration and get unauthorized backdoor access to these video devices. From there, the hackers can view through the video device and listen in on the audio. The scary part is that this kind of hack can go undetected. You might never know it happened. Can you imagine having a private meeting with your company's shareholders or board of directors all sitting in the conference room where one of these devices is installed? Again, what's at stake here? Your proprietary or intellectual property or information? Your anonymity? Privacy issues, yes. Via unwanted software, aka malware, Zoom sends your personal data to third parties. So, okay, who wants to have their personal data collected by 49 third-party Zoom partners? No. At Cisco, this is not an option. It's unavailable. We don't do it, period. And then reports on Zoom's vulnerabilities have been going on for some time now. At Cisco, we have known about these security flaws for years, and so did Zoom. With the recent spike of usage and the media coverage, these security flaws have been exposed. You're saying, whoa, wait a minute, Gil, you're getting ahead of yourself. Zoom's already started fixing this stuff. They addressed it. Yes, you are correct. If you have been following Zoom for the last week or two, they seem to be taking action. Number one, by locking down their once open default settings. Number two, they have formed a security advisory board. And number three, they claim to have a 90-day plan in place to address the rest of the security flaws. So my question to that is, number one, considering their history, how transparent will Eric and his new advisory board be this time? Number two, after they apply these setting lockdowns, how will this affect Zoom's performance? Will it be just as easy and nimble as before? And number three, how will this impact the price if they stop selling or sharing your data to third parties? I mean, they have to make up the revenue somehow, right? All this remains to be seen. So I'm going to move on now, and we're going to shift gears and talk about Cisco Webex security. So Cisco has been a security-first company since day one. It's in our DNA. It's been in our culture, and it's been a foundational element to all our products for almost 4 decades now. At Cisco, we have 3 principles: privacy, security, and transparency when it comes to security. Webex is committed to respecting the privacy of your data. Cisco does not rent or sell user data to third parties. Again, it's not an option. We don't do it, period. Cisco Webex is designed to be secure right out of the box by default. We don't expect the users to figure out that they got to turn stuff on or change settings to be safe. We ensure that for you. Cisco Webex is transparent about our privacy practices. Cisco has an independent security and trust organization with governance over Webex. And Cisco does not outsource our Webex meeting services to third parties. Our transcription services, our recording services are ours. Our people insights, our Webex meeting assistants are ours. The Webex data centers, the hardware, the software, the storage, and the staff are all Cisco. Now I'm going to touch on the Cisco Secure Development Lifecycle, or SDL. This is Cisco's Secure Development Lifecycle is a repeatable, measurable process designed to increase Cisco product resiliency and trustworthiness. The combination of tools, processes, and awareness training introduced during the development lifecycle promotes a defense in depth, provides a holistic approach to product resiliency, and establishes a culture of security and awareness. At Cisco, we are committed to security by further investing in the Cisco Security and Trust Organization. Cisco Security and Trust Organization is an independent organization with over 650 security experts worldwide. They oversee the security and privacy for Webex, and they publicly disclose any and all security vulnerabilities. We're transparent with our innovative data maps and data sheets, which describe how we process your personal data. The privacy data sheets describe the process of personal data by Cisco. It provides a list of data that we collect when you use Cisco Webex meetings, and we clearly identify the purpose for processing each type and each category of your personal data. For a more visual representation, we have privacy data maps. Our privacy data maps are visual representations of our privacy data sheets that illustrate how we process personal data across our portfolio, so you can see the flow via these maps. All the privacy data sheets and data maps are publicly available and may be accessed by customers at trust.cisco.com. Again, that's trust.cisco.com. Now I'm going into a little bit techie here. We're going to keep it low level. I just want to explain what's happening in your user-generated content when you use Webex meetings. Normally, no in-meeting content is stored upon meeting termination. The only thing that is kept is the event data for reporting, billing, and usage and performance analytics. However, when configured by the customer to do so, Cisco Webex meetings can store meeting and user data that may be crucial to your business. In this case, Cisco Webex stores all user passwords using SHA-2 and encrypts other passwords, such as for meetings or recordings, including stored network-based recordings. We also do bulk deletion and retention policies as well. Now in the traffic flow, what's happened when you're actually in a meeting and traffic is flowing over the internet between users in the cloud? Well, let's talk about that. By default, this is right out of the box, all traffic between Webex applications, Webex room devices, and the Webex cloud occur over TLS channels. Cisco Webex uses TLS 1.2 protocol and uses high-strength ciphers like AES 256 or 128. So here's the flow. After a meeting session is established over TLS, all media streams, that's audio, VoIP, video, share screen, and document share, are encrypted using AES, and in addition, each datagram uses hash-based message authentication code for authentication and integrity. Then the media streams flowing from a client to the Cisco Webex servers are deciphered or decrypted after they cross the Cisco Webex firewall for cloud-based recordings or network-based recording purposes. Cisco then re-encrypts the media streaming to the Webex cloud before sending it to other clients. In other words, we have a set of keys for standard recording purposes. This is our normal operation. Now, when it comes to end-to-end encryption, and for businesses that require a higher level of security, Cisco Webex also provides end-to-end encryption. With this option, Cisco Webex Cloud does not decrypt the media streams inside the Webex Cloud. In this model, traffic cannot be deciphered by the Cisco Webex server. In other words, when it comes to end-to-end encryption, we don't have a set of keys to your data. So Cisco Webex is not just about meetings. Webex is a complete end-to-end collaboration platform. Cisco Webex portfolio brings integration across all workloads. We do calling, meeting, messaging, devices, and contact center. We cover both on-prem and on the cloud. And it enables users consistencies across mobile devices, desktops, and meeting room devices. so you'll have the same experience regardless. Cisco Webex Cloud can do integrations with third parties like Microsoft, Google, and Slack, including your unique business apps and workflows. Imagine taking 5 or 10 apps that you use today to get work done and consolidating that into one app. We can help you do that. Cisco Webex has cognitive capabilities. This is one of our many AI features. It provides people insights, context, and intelligence, bringing a deeper, more meaningful meeting experience for you and your attendees. Our solutions provide the scalability and reliability you need to stay competitive. One platform, everything integrated. And it's hybrid too. Yes, hybrid. In other words, we can integrate Webex Cloud with your on-prem CUCM, your directory services, and Outlook calendar. We also have Webex Edge, so you can connect your on-prem registered video endpoints to the Webex Cloud for telemetry and analytical purposes, plus much, much more. Cisco operates the entire Webex infrastructure within the Webex Cloud, using only industry standard enterprise security. These are our data centers built using Cisco hardware and Cisco security. We do not outsource any of it. We design it, we built it, and we manage it. Now I'm going to start wrapping things up. I'm going to leave behind on this deck some web links that are public facing and focus around security. I'll leave this with the data center folks for you guys. And before I close, and after this call, I want you all to reach out to your DataVox rep and have a conversation about Cisco and Webex. And I want to leave behind a few talking points for you. You know, maybe you want to talk about our Webex Cloud Platform and the hybrid capabilities, our Webex apps and video endpoints, which are first in class and offer immersive experiences, our integrations, our Flex plan, which is our subscription purchasing plan, our install base refresh and credit opportunities. You may be able to get credit for your current install base. Ask about it. And check this out. We have infrastructure as a service. In other words, you can lease your hardware now. You don't have to make that huge capital investment up front. Instead, get on the lease program. We have demos and trials, and of course, ask us more about our remote worker solutions. So to close, at Cisco, you know, we believe one incident is one too many. We understand the liability when it comes to K-12 and healthcare. We understand the value of your intellectual property. We understand the privacy and the needs of your banking and financial businesses or private practice needs. Security is in our DNA. We have always invested and will continue to invest heavily in security and privacy. We have a mature processes and governance in place to protect you and your privacy and deliver security you can trust. At the end of the day, our mission, our culture is to enable collaboration without compromise. And with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you much.
Appreciate that, Gil. We've got a few good questions that came in as you were going through that. Both Todd and Gil wanted to address some Q&A, and feel free to put some additional Q&A questions in the Q&A section if you have something that you're curious about. But we'll start with this one. Can we have live stream of WebEx meetings to collective webcast?
Yeah, and on that one, Greg, I'm not sure, but I will definitely go and look at it. I know we've opened up webcasting just extensively to those ones that I mentioned, but let me go do a little research on collective cast, and I'll find out for you.
Okay. We appreciate the person that put that question in, and we'll follow up directly with you on that specific webcast platform. Another question here, is there a time limit on how long a meeting can last with the personal account if I want to meet with family and friends? I was using another platform, and it cut me off after the time limit was met.
Yeah, initially, we had a 40-minute time limit ourselves on the free version. Because of COVID-19, we want everybody to using that as much as possible to keep in touch with family and friends. We've removed that restriction, so it's an unlimited length of call, as well as, I believe we said before, 100 participants on the call as well.
Okay, thank you. Next question, is Webex more expensive than Zoom and other solutions?
Todd, you want to take that one?
That?
Sure. I think around cost, it's going to depend on the opportunity. The way we are in the marketplace today, a Cisco AM is not going to lose to a Zoom account. We have Zoom compete programs. So if there is an existing Zoom account in there and you want to displace that, we have offerings for that.
Okay. I know that from a DataVox perspective, we've seen Webex be extremely competitive with any of the other platforms in the marketplace. So I don't think you're going to see a price that's any higher than the competition there. So get with us on that. Next question: what are the most unique differentiators of Webex compared to the other platforms in the market? We touched a little bit on that as we went through the presentation, but Todd, do you want to follow up on that question?
Sure. I think really the uniqueness of it is the scalability and the security. This platform has been around for a very long time. As we said in the Magic Quadrant there, we've been a leader for 10 plus years in that market space. So really the security and the scalability. Gil, do you have anything else that comes top of mind to you that can differentiate?
Yes, I will throw in our video endpoints. They're first in class, and we offer immersive video experiences. I want to encourage you guys to check out our video endpoint portfolio. By far none, we are the best in the world, and we cover the entire gamma from pocket to boardroom. So that makes us a big differentiator. Also, it's the overall Webex platform. I mentioned before, we cover all workloads. All our solutions work natively with each other. It's all Webex all under the same hood. No one else can say that. We don't use third-party services for transcription. We don't use third-party services for this and that. Everything is in-house, Cisco only.
Exactly. So we actually purchased the company Voicea for that transcription service. Our competitors use companies like Otter AI. That transcription service is then Otter AI's, so it's not any longer the Webex the conferencing companies like Zoom's. So that is something that all those products built into our offering. I think the end-to-end that we spoke to is probably where we really set ourselves apart. Like Gil said, the hardware piece of it, not only the hardware, but the software as far as software as a service in VPN, in AnyConnect, in Duo, in AMP, making it so secure. I think really that's what our key differentiators are.
Yep. One more differentiator is our hybrid capabilities. Again, this allows you to integrate your on-prem to the cloud. This helps you protect your existing investments, use them for the lifespan of those while leveraging the resources from the cloud. So you can get the best of both worlds while protecting your investments. No one else can say that.
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I agree with all the points you're making there. Cisco is very unique. It's kind of an Apple-like model where they make the software, they make the meeting platform, but they also make the hardware that you actually use at the personal level or in the conference room, whether that's a phone, a headset, a personal telepresence unit, or in a boardroom where you might like to get back to someday. Cisco makes it from end to end, and they're also a cybersecurity company, so they're very in tune with how to secure all of the transmission of these meetings, secure remote workers, which, as the guys mentioned earlier, we've got another webinar at 2 o'clock specifically talking about securing remote workers. So definitely tune into that one. There's a couple other questions, but I think they were primarily addressed as we went through the event, so I think we're good there. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to DataVox. We'll be back in communication, and we'll take any specific questions on a one-on-one basis and make sure to get that information back to you. Gil mentioned it a little bit at the end there, related to flex plans. So Cisco for many years has dominated the phone system market, the collaboration market, with the actual phone systems that you used within your office. And so we're having a lot of customers that because the majority of companies use Cisco from that perspective, we're working with a lot of organizations on this flex plan idea. And if you haven't heard of that before, it's basically taking the place of your traditional maintenance agreements with Cisco, and it offers a tremendous additional value beyond traditional maintenance agreements. And then the meetings platform can be folded into that agreement. So it's effectively an enterprise agreement that provides a lot of flexibility, ease of use, all the feature functionality that you would need both in the office and with the phone system, as well as potentially with the online meetings and video conferencing. So if you're a customer who has a Cisco phone system today, definitely encourage you guys to reach out to us or the people within your organization that handle that platform and ask about the flex plan, because it's extremely popular. It's saving organizations money, and it's also enabling many additional capabilities that we didn't have before. So that's been really successful. With that, I think we are done. Over to you, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you to everybody. And thank you all for joining us for today's webinar. As a reminder, the recording link for today's session will be emailed to all attendees 24 to 48 hours post-event. If you did enjoy today's session and would like to hear more, we do offer new webinars weekly. As Greg and the team mentioned, we do have a webinar this afternoon at 2 p.m. You can check out our DataVox website for more information on upcoming sessions. And as always, we would love to hear your feedback on our events. Once this webinar has ended, you'll be redirected to a survey page. If you could please take a moment to complete the survey before closing out your browser, we would greatly appreciate it. That concludes our session for today. Thank you so much to Todd and Gil and the Cisco Webex team for a great presentation, and thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.